Ladies and gentlemen, we are live for the final round of the S-Oil Championship, live on Jeju Island at Elysian. 96 players began this 72-hole stroke play contest. The field was cut down to 60, and then yesterday we were able to truly find out who was going to be the challenger. And it's challenger singular because Kochi 1 has been and currently is running away with this tournament. Now, she has the entirety of her back nine to go, and nothing in this sport is guaranteed, but she could not ask for a better position to be in as she reaches the turn. 71 yesterday, she really slowed things down, only picked up one stroke under par, but alas, she has rediscovered that form, certainly from Friday, but from Thursday as well. She is 4 under already, a 32 on the way out, sitting at 4 under and just getting her time on the Pine course underway. So she's not our only contender, of course. There are more than a handful. Kim Shi-hyun has been the modicum of consistency. Shot a 69 on Thursday, a 69 on Friday, a 70 yesterday, but when you consider everyone in the top 10, she has been the slowest to start today. Out of the sand onto the green for what we can call 2.5 meters. She'll be trying to save her par. Well, it's a long putt, this, isn't it? From the extreme back of the green. She had more than 15 meters to try to overcome. It was always going to be a two-putt scenario, trying to set up the par. So over to the first hole. For Chung Hee-won, she is at +10. To say that this round and this tournament has not gone her way would be a bit of an understatement. And she was right in the thick of things heading into the weekend, but it was a 77 yesterday. And she's on pace right now for a 79, unless she can straighten things out on the back. On 10, this is Chung Soo-yeon. Never wanted to move back online, did it? Well, we don't expect really much of anything in terms of contention from these players, only just beginning their back nines. But that wide shot does reveal another overcast day here on Jeju, with the winds once again a factor. We've mentioned it a few times, but it's worth repeating again. Mata Som, our defending champion, when she was asked about her preparations and what she was expecting from this tournament, she said, as the defending champion, the winds at Jeju are the biggest factor. It can make the fairways, even when they are 100 meters wide, feel long and narrow. She told us that putting was going to be the difference today. And these 5-footers, 2.5, 3-meter putts are the most important of any that the field will face. That's an example of it here for Kim Shi-hyun. trying to avoid a bogey and to stay at 9 under par. Should break a little bit right to left. Here it comes. There's too much speed. The last ingredient, and arguably the most important. She pops out the back, and that will be a bogey. So Park Young at 8 under par, she will be elated with that score. That is inside the top 10. She is 300 today after her 73 in round 3. She knew pretty quick that that putt would not behave, though. Back to 10, Chung Soo-yeon. This is her bogey putts. So a little more than a tap-in. And down she goes. All right. With no obstruction, if anything, a beautiful pin marker. Aim for the mountaintop. It's that simple. Sokyo Reem, her approach shot on hole number 10 at 12 under. She is our closest challenger, though she still has some work to do on this back 9. Just past pin high, navigating that crosswind well. And Coach Shi won. A 6-iron for her with the pin today on number 10, just in line with that bunker to the left. That's very well located. She, of course, is the story as a hometown player, having won already here in Jeju-shi this season. It was the Jeju Samdasu Masters. And in one of the final tournaments of the season, she would love to add nothing more than one more to end the season on a high. Choe Lim at +6 after 9 holes. Belts that right down the middle of the fairway. Yoo Hyun Jo at 9 under. She's playing a 9 at the 10th in this final group. A season for the record books. There's no doubt about it, regardless of the result today. The gallery's swelling, the largest numbers of the week, as you would expect for the championship decider. Chun Seung-hee. This is looking like it'll work out just fine for her. Not something she's been able to say enough today, evidently, with her score. We'll go to 11 with Park Ju-young. She lit the course alight on Friday. Struggled at times yesterday with her approaches, leaving her with putts just a bit too long. Unfortunately, here is another example. Two-putt par for Park Ju-young. Closest of calls. An exasperated gallery as Yoo Hyun-jo has just and only just missed wide. .105 for Lee Dae-yeon here at 11. She'll play the 52-degree wedge. Most of the way to the back right of the green is where she needs to head. Yeah, just like that. Making it look easy. That flag hanging on for dear life by a thread. That's how much of a tailwind there currently is. Now So-gyo Reem. Downhill putt for a birdie, but it breaks too much at the end. While wearing her Sunday red. It's typically a sign of confidence, and more often than not, is a very good omen. So after all the preparation, coaching one with this uphill breaking putt doesn't quite break enough. Cheonu. Excellent approach. She will be more than satisfied with that. Two putts gets her to the finish line. Chung Soo-yeon at 11. Only 98 meters to go. Simple wedge. More club, and she's flirting with the back fringe. It will feel short, but that's a good on. Back to 10. Yoo Hyun-jo has her par. Kim Shi-hyun's second at 11. Only 85 meters, a 58-degree wedge, a great chance to set up, but she even goes even further from the pin. Daunted by the wind, I'm sure it's throwing a wrench in the plans of the normal putt pattern. Yu-Hyun Jo has her par. Even without the birdie, heck, even with a bogey, she would have been comfortably in front. Im Jin-young, this is technically for birdie, but she is putting from the mainland, it will feel like. She knew it was never going to be there in one. Coach Yuan quickly ahead to the 11th tee and wasting no time swinging that driver and finding the fairway. We'll go to 12. Park Ju-young looking for 9 under. Break never comes for her though. And back to the tee with our featured group, a Canadian-inspired hole. And yes, our police officers do look like that in their ceremonial dress. Beautiful Niagara Falls in the background. So Gil Ream, business as usual, it looks like.
Boy.
Kim Shi-hyun. She'll have some assistance from the tailwind. It's inching ever closer. It's stopping about 2 meters short. That leaves Yu-Hyun Jo. Bluebird Skies peeking through the crowds, a very highly attended featured group. I think we can say with some conviction that the champion will almost certainly come out of that trio. Chung Soo-yeon, right to left breaking. This is looking good. She has her birdie. Cheanu, this is for 10 under par. Looking good, and that will also fall. She reaches the double-digit mark. Let's see if Idayan can replicate that feat at the 11th. Gave herself a bit too much leeway to the outside of the pin. Kim Shi-hyun just a little tap in to have her par and an 8 under score. Approach time, Kochi won 140 and an 8 iron. She heads right of the green and she will go for a bit of a ride, won't she, with the downslope and the wind. A speedy cocktail that onto the fringe. Chunye Sung here on the par 3 60. Lands front left and goes for a bit of a ride. She's on the opposite end of the green. Well, that's a not so welcoming section of sand and tall grass, isn't it? It's a mist green in regulation. The second for Yoo Hyun Jo, a 50-degree wedge, almost an iron. Couldn't quite get it to stick, but there's no doubt that that hefty tailwind was helping her along. Next is 12, also a par 3. Long way left on the green. Park Yang as we go pinballing from one par 3 to the other. She's at 16. Is fading to the left. Not to suggest that it's as simple as just readjusting ever so slightly right, but alas, it is a vacant side of the green, a tight grouping from the 3 tee shots. So Gilreem about a yard past the point at which she lands. All right, with that, we take an opportunity to reset the leaderboard and catch our breaths. At 1:25 p.m. local time in Jeju, it is Kochi won by 4 strokes, leading this final round of the 2025 S-Oil Championship. Well, welcome back. Chung Soo-yeon, she was in a little bit of a predicament, wasn't she? Able to navigate it mostly unscathed. Now, from a long way away, working the width of this green. Just about able to find a way there, but that will feel like mission accomplished. Now Kochi won at the 11th, up the hill. She'll run out of speed just a touch early. This is always going to be something of a hope and a prayer to the golf gods. Not the power required to solve that tricky putt. Young makes the slow saunter to her ball. Now Kim Shi-hyun, 8.3 putts downhill here on the par 3. As always, breaking left. More than just the nudge to end the hole with the par. She's still even after 12. Tied for 9th, though, at 8 under. Chun Yi-sung steps out as the wind picks up. Par is secured. But the chasing pack, including Chung Soo-yeon, who is at 11, they are just starting to run out of time. Now, we don't want to take for one moment one single thing away from Chun Ye-sung, who with that birdie remains at 7 under after 16 holes. So she might be bowing out just by the simple maths of what's in front of her. Yoo Hyun-jo, she along with Kim Shi-hyun and Hyun Se-rin, the sole players left at even. She is comfortably in the top 10. She'll have to settle for yet another par. 2/3 of the way through the round. Bang Min-ji, even a birdie wouldn't quite take her to the top 10, but throughout this tournament, we have seen glimpses of what she can do at the peak of her powers. It is a solid approach, leading to what should be a birdie. And now Kochi won. She knows pars would be plenty. She did her heavy lifting on the front 9. ENG. Her final hole of the day, and she sees that fabulous effort from her group mate and says, I can do you one better, and does so with her veteran savvy poised to hole 72. All right, looking down at a right located pin. She took the assignment a bit too literally, pardon me. Center left located the pin today. I was bought in on the approach shot. I'm thinking of perhaps the par 4 to come. G1, she faces her first par 3 of the back 9. Evidently, she was between clubs. Let's see if she made the right choice with her 7-iron. Short, and significantly short. Down the hill into the headwinds. So maybe the 6 was the right answer. That is with 20/20 hindsight. Well, it is a blustery affair today. We'd expect nothing less on Jeju. With all of the scenic landscapes and, quite frankly, very formidable weather for this time of year, November the 2nd. At what is essentially the southernmost tip of this fabulous golfing nation. So Gyuri, she needs some birdies. It's that simple. You don't need a PhD in mathematics to figure that one out. She trails by 4. She has 6 holes remaining. That tee shot, though, is short. And it is right. Back to 18, trying to send Pungmin Ji off with a celebratory birdie. She's there, tied for 13th. 3 times this week she cards a 69, what could have been without yesterday's +2. But for the veteran, that is more than just an admirable showing. It was a long way from what was essentially the fringe. Remaining for the par. Speaking of, short putt remaining, but this for Chun-In-Ji for birdie. A 69 just about equals her best round of the weekend. The veteran and the previous champion of the S-Oil Championship, who had nothing but positive things to say about returning to Korean golf, finishes ever so narrowly outside of the top 10 at T13. Seven-iron for Yoo Hyun Jo. All things considered, that is a respectable beginning to this par 3. On this finish-inspired par 4 13th. hop, skip, and a rocket towards the right border of the fairway. She is off on the right foot, both figuratively and literally. Chanye Sung on her second to last. This is hole 71. She holds a 7-iron. 129 and up the hill she needs to climb. Lands at about a yard before the pin and will head all the way to the back. Might tail down ever so slightly on the downslope. Still some work to do. Serene has her birdie. A very impressive putt. Well, she had been hanging on by a whisker to the top 10. That will certainly help her cause, as she is looking at one of her season-long bests. Approach time. I don't even know if half a swing is fully accurate. But whatever it was exactly what was required. They are featured in final group for a reason. Yeah, that's navigating all of the elements just well. Now Coach E1, she's not expecting the birdie, but it would be gravy. She does her job setting up the par. Kim Shi-hyun, her second at the 13th. Yeah, the backspin comes in right at the nick of time.
Okay.
6 meters on the nose for Yoo Hyun Jo as she looks for 10 under par. just missing to the inside left. Shindei needs to come up the hill. The putt is going to move left pretty quick. He's always going to risk that extra speed to ensure she didn't leave it short. Now Cheanu teeing off on the par 3 16th. Hop, skip, and a little bit of spin. She heads to the back left corner of the green. Well, it's nicely orchestrated. A good par. She has earned the right to take a few extra moments for these par putts. Still ahead by 4. She has converted on 97% of her par saves this week. One of the many reasons she finds herself so comfortably leading this S-Oil Championship. She knows this is a tricky one, but she doesn't let the occasion get the best of her. Park Young on the second to last, just a little bit short. Now Yuhyun Jo. A big swing to begin the 13th. And Chen Ye Sung, and the next at 17, this one comes awfully close. Breaking down left to right. Shot right down the fairway. It's a more than satisfactory conclusion, and that's a sigh of relief. Young rolls that in. One more for the books as we enter the final 6 holes of this tournament. Well, as we near the end of hour number 1 of our final round coverage of the S-Oil Championship, we can report that the leaderboard looks very similar to where it was about 50 minutes ago. Kochi won a 4-stroke advantage over Sokyo Reem. Chunye Sung in her 7-under has just a couple of holes to play, and worthy of a highlight, Shin Da-in, who shot a 67. She just misses out on the top 10, as does Peng Min-ji and Chun In-ji alike, but more than respectable final rounds. We'll be back in a few for more from Elysian. Hope you'll stay with us. welcome back. We are here with Chung Soo-yeon. An approach shot on the 14th. Correction, second shot on the 14th. The first of our two par 5s on the back nine. Sogyo Ream, 77 meters and a 58-degree wedge. She goes right at it. In fact, she almost jars it from the fairway. Doesn't matter which club out of the bag she takes, she knows that next shot is going in. Coach Yuan will play this with a wind at her back. Just a little wedge. Uses the fairway expertly to keep that good and close. By yardage, we know which one is technically better, but both pass with flying colors. It is 231 for Lee Dae-yeon. She has 5 wood in hand. Knowing she needed a little extra, she tries to reach in 2. At the extreme end of the fairway, it'll be a simple wedge and putt as she looks for her birdie. Chae-Nu at the 16th. Going to move into a podium position. It's always going to be a difficult ask from that long distance. That clears the front drop of the green. We can call that a successful approach, even if she still has a fair bit of work to do. Lands almost exactly where she arrives, navigating that frantic tailwind. Besting what was already a very impressive approach. It is a very good on. Six iron for Hyun Se-rin. Just 3 holes to play. It's another precise tee shot to within 3, maybe 4 meters at the most. Yu-Hyun Jo is ever so slightly off the green. She has elected to chip from the fringe at 13. She was right on the line. Go to 15 with Park Ju-young. Her 9 under par score is tied for 7th. She has 142 to make up. Look at this. That's an absolutely marvelous approach shot. Up the hill, into the wind, to the corner of the green. She does exceptionally well. No Coach Yuan. Golden opportunity for 17 under par, and she has it. Extending the lead. Count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 birdies through 13 holes, and she is running away with this S-Oil Championship. Dayan here at this par 5. She short hits this, and the ball will even then descend further towards the fringe. Park Yang trying to secure a top 10 finish this week. Setup shot at the 18th. A little bit longer than perfect, but still solid. Couldn't ask for a better record at 14. Sylvia Reem, birdie, birdie, birdie through the first 3 rounds. Unlikely look for Lee Dayan at 14, just about 8 meters. There's a reason why that distance has only fallen 7% of the time this year. All of the momentum very much in her favor in the home stretch, so comfortably ahead. It would take quite the collapse for her not to be our winner. And yet, we still have to go through the final 5s to know for sure. Chung Soo-yeon, I would guesstimate 5 meters for this birdie. It will come uphill and it will break right at the end. Breaks right a little too early. advice as well this effort. Tee shot at 14. Does what you would expect it to, finding the fairway. So let's take our breath collectively. Coach E1, after her birdie on hole number 13, has a 4-stroke advantage heading into the final 5 holes. The odds very much in her favor. So Reem looks like she might be able to wrap up second, but from there, still anyone's guess. Chung Soo-yeon tied for third with a handful of holes still to play, and maybe might even make a run at the win. We'll take a break and come back on the other side with more from Malaysian Jeju, this final round of the S-Oil Championship. And welcome back. Here's Coach E1 continuing her odyssey on the par 5. Irene, she's looking at 9 under. Heck of a putt. So tied for 7th now, which is up 1 position from where she had started the day. Sogyo Reem is who we are most interested in at the moment. Witnessing that second shot on the par 5. She's gone missed to the right. Continuing to march along, I'd say without incident, but she's had a few that have gotten the supporters out of their seats. Young Joe away, trying to keep the pace of this breakneck final round. A little more than a tap in, thoroughly well deserved for Ideon. Left to right breaking putt. Will it hang on? If anything, it stayed too straight as it kisses the back edge and bounces out. Chanu. Pin hunting. Call that a successful mission. Certainly, pardon me, a perplexing one. Chung Soo-yeon away on 15. Kim Young, 2-footer, read the break well, ends the round, all pars on the back 9, and the 33 on the way out, a bogey-free final round to finish at 8 under par. Well, hundreds on hand to applaud Coach Yuan arriving here on the par 5. Chen Yisung ends with the 32 on the way in and a 33 on the way out. What a day. 67 at the finish line and tied for 3rd position. And fabulous golf on offer. A little bit less eventful as the par is acknowledged. Well, it's a long way away at 20 meters, but nevertheless, it's Yu Hyun Jo looking for an eagle. Starting to come down the hill, but all the way through, that ball stayed straight as an arrow. Kim Shi-hyun, 4-iron, 159 to the pin. Was hoping for a little bit more carry, but all in. Satisfactory from the rough. So Gyorim, single digits, but only narrowly 9 meters. It's the wrong corner of the green to be on. She'll have a long putt coming up next. Coach Yuan. Well, she is absolutely cruising. She's trying to keep that composed game face, but she'll even know what is directly in front of her, the way she is playing fabulous golf. Hyun Se-rin, the second to last, just avoiding the water. Trying to reel in this pin. Yeah, she's done that. Birdie would take her to 10 under, tied for 5th. She is bringing her absolute A game today. Now, Yoo Hyun-jo, speaking of 10 under par, it was almost an unfathomable miss. Seven iron for Lee Dae-yeon, 129 and climbing. Lands behind the pin. She'll have no complaints about that. Well, the lead has extended now to 5 as Kochi won, putting up one of her best rounds of the week on the final day. She's already shot 165, and with 4 holes to go, she is well on her way to meeting or surpassing it. Can anyone catch her? That's the question we're asking ourselves as we continue to surveil the final hours of this 2025 S-Oil Championship. Welcome back to Elysian. 4 holes to secure glory for Coach Yuan, who is comfortably in front, and that might be an understatement. Last year, we needed a 2-hole playoff to determine a victor. It is looking a whole lot more wide open in 2025. 5 strokes ahead of Sogyo Reem, 7 clear of Chung Soo Yeon. She is nearing her finish line as well, very much with eyes for the podium. 180 million won to the winner, 110 to the runner-up, and 80 for P3. And Chung Soo Yeon currently tied for it. She has the holes at her disposal to go on and take that outright. She'll tap in the par here and head to the final 3. The par 3 is next for her. Sogyo Reem. Hole 15. A par 4. Needs a good drive to get started. She might be ultimately disappointed to come up short, but the runner-up position would be no minor accomplishment. That's what she is trying to secure. Essentially what she needs is some combination of 3 birdies and 2 bogeys for Coach Yuan, or 2 birdies and 3 bogeys to force a playoff. It's feeling unlikely, but all she can do is take it 1 hole at a time. Kim Shi-hyun rolls that up to just about pin high, leaving herself with a little more than a tap in for the par. Here's Hyun Se-rin. Heads to 10 under and heads to 18. Tied for 5th position. She has been the model of perseverance. Has not come easy for her this week, but she has fought on every single hole and is deserved of that tied for 5th position and wants a little bit more. Lee Dae-yeon, this is a tricky one. Downhill left to right, it breaks so early. And she watches that birdie slip through her fingers, taps in for the par. We'll go to 18. Cheonu, 156. Trying to set up her birdie. Just clears the fringe, starts to roll a little bit left and a little bit down the hill as well. This will work out an absolute treat for her. Look at this. She'll play it cool, but that's certainly worthy of celebration. A birdie there would take her to 11 under, tied for 3rd as well, but she needs that 4-footer. Six iron for Sogyo Reem at 137 away. Officially the pin, 15 yards from the back of the green and 7 yards from the left fringe. Good flight to get it started. And moves even more so towards the middle. go to 18. Park June, 7 under as she addresses this shot. She's just outside of the top 10. A birdie would change that, though. First 2 shots, an absolute peach, or maybe a box of peaches, to be more accurate. Short. Coach Yuan in the rough with her second on 15. Here's Idayon teeing off on the par 3. 168 the meters or 184 yards, depending on your preferred flavor. Heads all the way to the back left. Back right would have been ideal. The zoomed out perspective shows just how two-tiered this green is. That tee shot makes a beeline for the front corner of the green. We've had plenty of wind and a little bit of rain in the mornings, but otherwise, for what is now November the 2nd, Mother Nature is playing along just nicely. We have a perfect backdrop for the final round of the second to last event of the season. Another break and back with more on the other side at Elysian. And welcome back. Well, it's not to be entirely drama-free for Kochi 1 as she catches that as thick as she possibly could and maybe picks up a yard or two. We're not quite ready to call it trouble in paradise with her comfortable advantage, but certainly one to watch. I suppose this is take two. Suddenly, this is the chip for par. And maybe more than a chip, it's a high pitch coming down the embankment. She can afford this bogey. In fact, she can probably afford 3 of them. That's how far in front she is. The next putt very decisive. Everyone's playing their own game right now, just as Lee Dae-yeon is. A long look at a bird uphill, right to left, breaking. Does she have a chance? Well, she certainly made it close. June. This will be left to right breaking, but downhill. She has just enough to hang on. And she equals her first round score of a 70. Tied for 10th. She's not going to win this tournament, but she should feel absolutely thrilled with how she has navigated these 72 holes. A very respectable T10 finish. 280 aggregate score. Back to 15. Yoo-hyun Jo is next. This is downhill. A little rise to clear at the beginning, and then it is all steam ahead. That's what's left for par. I imagine this is also 2-putt territory for Kim Shi-hyun. And it is indeed. Hangs that up, and it finishes a bit short. Well then, disappointing outcome here on the 15th. She will mark that ball and take a moment to go through the motions once more. Chung Soo-yeon. A little more than a tap in. Tip of the cap to the gallery. She is on to the next. Now Kochi 1. Tell you what, bogeys she can afford. Double bogeys she could also afford, but it would give us that little bit of drama. Heading to the end. One relinquished is enough, says our leader. Even someone who is likely to finish as the champion. Well, she's human too. Mistakes will happen. Kim Ji-hyun avoids her bogey at 16 as she rolls in the par. Yoo-hyun Jo to stay at 9 under. Good putts. That's par. Keanu goes up to 11 under, and that's where she will exit this tournament. 67. She saves the best for the last this week. It is tied for third after 72 holes. Chung Soo-yeon tees off on the penultimate hole. As we would expect, she has no problem finding the fairway. On the tee of hole 16. Still waiting for someone to go out and claim the keys of that Porsche Panamera 4. Sogyo Reem has the honors after Coach Iwan's bogey. She sits 4 back. Has the birdie out to have any chance. Oh, she nearly has an ace. That's the closest call that I can remember this week. And look at the expression. Oh, don't look back at the Porsche. That's just cruel. But that is how close she came. This is phenomenal. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. So close and yet so far. Yu-Hyun Jo next up, 7-iron. It's not nearly as dramatic. She's actually a long way off into the back left corner. Coach Iwan doesn't quite have enough on it to climb the hill. Well, we know we have 1 birdie for sure. And after that, even the 2 pars aren't guaranteed by any stretch. There goes the gallery, watching who they can confidently believe will shortly become the S-Oil champion. And with that, let's take a quick reset. It has grown tighter, but it is by no means decided just yet. Coach Iwan, 4 strokes clear of her group mate Sogyo Reem here at Elysian.
앞에 움직이지 말아주세요.
And we welcome you back. Yu Hyun Jo had the first attempt at a birdie. She left a little bit off that first offering. And now Chung Soo-yeon. She sits tied for third. One birdie though in the final 2 holes should lift her up to outright third. That's trouble though. Shortchanged and ending up in the sand trap. It'll be a long walk with some regretful reminiscing. Hyun Se-rin, 86 meters here at the last. Looking to stay close to the front. She's done that. It's a nice setup for the ultimate conclusion of her S-Oil Championship. She'd love for it to be just one more putt. Kim Shi-hyun, this is her third. She is lucky to have missed the water. 117. She has seen it all here. Birdie, par, and a double bogey. She might just be able to equal her effort from Thursday. Heading back to 16, par 3. Kochi 1, she just needs pars. Pars would be plenty as she looks to secure this title. Starting up the hill and then coming on down. Lee Daeyeon next up over the water. Short, though, on the approach as she gets stuck in the fairway. Kochi 1 even in a world where she went bogey, bogey, bogey. So long as Sogyo Reem doesn't catch her, she would still have enough to win. Now that is not a reality that she wishes to entertain. And she has putted so well that par should still be more than just a slight possibility. There she is. 17 under through 16. She has 2 holes remaining to secure her second victory of 2025 right in her backyard. Sogyo Reem. This is for 14 under. I'd say it's a must-have to keep her slim title hopes alive. It would go a long way into securing at least a second place finish. It's a great tee shot, and she follows that up with a clutch putt. The gap is 3 with only the 2 holes remaining. Chung Soo-yeon currently in a 4-way tie for 3rd, trying to blast this out of the sand, but doesn't catch it correctly. Sends that all the way to the fringe. It thought about a little roll back down onto the green, but that will be a lengthy putt to try to avoid her bogey. She would go from a tie for 3rd to a tie for 6th with a miss. Hyun-Se Rin, meanwhile, up to 11 under par. Her best round of the weekend, and it's so richly deserved. 68 on Sunday. An incredible 18 holes of golf. She should be absolutely elated with her efforts today. Now this is Yoo Hyun-jo, who, not to rub salt in the wound, along with Sung Eun-ah, is the only player in the top 20 to be stuck at even. That par keeps her there. It has been 16 holes and 16 pars as she heads to the 17th tee. Interesting one this for Lee Dae-yeon. A chip just past the sand. She gets most of the way there. That look of displeasure is not from that shot, but the situation that she finds herself in. Sole possession of 7th currently at 10 under par. Chung Soo-yeon trying to avoid a bogey here on the par 4. It would take a Herculean effort. The odds aren't in her favor. Starting downhill, now climbing. Speed-wise, it was very close. Her misses to the right, though. And not even close enough to just tap that in. She'll have to mark it off. $80 meters even for Park Ji-young at the last. A little bit of pizzazz at the end. Setting up what she hopes will be a birdie. Seo Rim still with the honors. Fresh off that birdie, the gap is 3 with only 2 holes to play. Never say never. She, of course, needs to take care of her own business first. Kim Shi-hyun to avoid a bogey. And this is a lengthy putt, at least 8 meters down the hill. So close. Kochi 1 away on the par 4 into the fairway. Kim Shi-hyun now to ratify the bogey. She'll drop to 8 under with one last chance to bounce back when she arrives at the 18th in mere moments. Yoo-hyun Jo, if you've missed the story, it's worthy of repeating. She had, I believe, just looking at the spread, Yoo-hyun Jo first in the points, 658. P2, Hong Jung-min, 524. That's 134 points. If she hadn't wrapped it up before this tournament, I think she will note that she will be the We Made Points champion by the end of the day, and that will give her great seeding in the We Mix Championship as well. Here's Chung Soo-yeon. Not just 10 under, she's going to drop to 9 under par. That's a double bogey. It's a tough point of the round to have a slip of that magnitude. But alas, she has no choice but to try to put it behind her. Diane also facing a bogey. And she descends to 9 under par. Here's Im Jin-young at the last. Just misses out on a chance for 5 under par. Setup time for Kochi 1 on the 17th, 119 meters away. Locates that just about picture perfectly. That's a disappointing end to the round for Park Ji-young, but what I want to highlight, for a player with only now 7 top 10 finishes this year, when you look at the month of October into November, tied for second at the Tungbu Construction Corps Championship, third at the K-Food Nobu Hwami Masters. Yes, she missed the cut last week, but again, tied for second last week and another top 10 finish. She picked the right time of the season to heat up, even if she will feel a little bit disappointed to be off the podium again this week. No doubt that's troublesome. A beeline into the trees now. The spotter is pointing out as though he can see it away from the forest, which would be a huge relief. .109 for Sogyo Reem. Her approach doesn't quite reach the green.
Shot.
Oohs and ahs from the supporters as that approach misses not only a little left, but Yu Hyun Jo has gone down the hill. Well, we are into the 3 o'clock hour, and there's only 2 holes separating Kochi One from her triumphant victory. 3 strokes clear of Sogyo Reem, with Hyun Se-rin, Chun Ye-sung, Cheonu all in the clubhouse. Yu Hyun Jo is in a bit of a predicament. We'll see how she navigates that on the other side of this break. Our coverage of the S-Oil Championship will continue in just a few minutes. And welcome back to Elysian. Yoo-Hyun Jo with the first third shot on the 17th hole, and that ball rolled all the way into the rough. Just a little clipper. Up and down to about 2 meters away from her birdie, or from her par, pardon me. Drama as well here at the 18th. This is an interesting call for Kim Shi-hyun. This isn't a hybrid, this is a 5-wood. She does have 289 to go, it's her second. But she clearly feels confident enough in this lie to grab the big club. Was it a call well made? It sounded like it. She does miss the fairway though, so it's a matter of what's her preference, lie or distance. Sogyo Reem, she'll chip at the 17th, her third. Gets it up, catches the fringe, here it comes, bending back around. Beautiful touch with the short game. Down with a second on the par 5 into the fairway. The hybrid does its job. That's a short distance for a big crescent-shaped putt.
마지막 기회.
이거 하고 한 점 더 남았어요.
Aghast. The gallery behind the 17th green as Yoo-Hyun Jo bogeys for the first time today. She drops to 8 under par. A par for Coach E1. She is through 71 holes. And as long as she does not hit a triple bogey, well, I think she'll be able to take this thing home. Kim Shi-hyun, her approach, just clearing the rough and lands in the front right corner of the green. cut. Our featured group is officially away at the last.
중앙자 버튼 미리 좀 부탁드릴게요.
Coach E1. One stroke to the good as she begins this par 5. On the green, but only just, and the wind is howling. The final moments of this S-Oil Championship. All three away. It all comes down to these next 10 minutes. Very good one. The wedge coming in clutch. Almost able to return that Ideon to a pin high position. The S-Oil Championship. Year 19 of its offering on the KLPGA Tour, and the second to last tournament of this incredible 2025 season. Chung Soo-yeon, her putt's moving in on line, but stopping short. .72, an even par score, but it is her toughest of the week. She finishes tied for 6th, Chung Soo-yeon. With her 9 under par effort, she is there with Ideon provisionally. Coach E1 with that hybrid in hand plays her second Surely less than 5 minutes away now. That's a disappointing end to the round. A second putt required. Pings that from fairway to the corner of the next fairway. Gasp of exasperation as Idayan fails to find the hole. That's not the way she wanted to end the round. That almost goes without saying. Finishes tied for 6th, 9 under, a 71, the same score she had on Friday. But it is another top 10 finish.
우와. 우와.
Second shot at 18 from Yu Hyun Jo heads to the bottom left corner of the fairway. So let's take this opportunity for a quick break. And when we come back, we will crown a champion here at Elysian Jeju. 4 incredible days of golf in the penultimate event of the 2025 season, very shortly to be concluded. And we are all but certain that it will be Coach Ji-won hoisting the trophy in the not-so-distant future as she does so in front of many hometown friends and family.
들어가겠습니다. 앞에 이동 멈춰주세요. 같이 몇 개?
So we pick things back up with a couple of awe-inspiring approaches here on number 18. Sogyurim, what a performance. In just about any other circumstance, 14 under would be more than enough to win this tournament. Yoo-Hyun Jo, her third. The last to seek the green on 18. Just a gentle pitch. And she runs that up well. Staring down a birdie, which would take her back to even par for the round. And a tie for sixth finish. Our featured group is about to arrive on the 18th green. They will be announced as the gallery continues to circle the hole. Where Coach Iwon is set to take her second career title and second of 2025. Well, she is the furthest away, so she owns the honor. This would be just the ball. Does she have one last birdie in store? Oh, so close. And you know what? Good for her. Mark that ball and wait for your moment.
마크해? 마크해야 돼?
Yoo-Hyun Jo putting for birdie. Too much speed on it. despite being over par today, it's certainly not the round she was hoping for. It's a top 10 finish for Yu Hyun-jo. Meanwhile, some of Coach Ji-won's biggest supporters have the water bottles in hand. I think Cheonu has 3 of them. She's not going to miss her shots. Well, I want to make sure that at least on my end of the broadcast, what we don't lose in perspective is what So Gyo-reem has done today. And not just today, but over the course of this week. Fabulous golf. She was just bested by an untouchable score. And it's also worth highlighting that since the K-Food Nobu Hwami Masters 2 weeks ago, this is her second tournament as the runner-up, which is a career best. But with that being said, this afternoon has been all about Coach Ji-won, who taps in her par and secures her score of 271 strokes to win the 2025 S-Oil Championship. Now this is some ingenuity. That's a full 24 flat for the hometown hero, who has dazzled from Thursday through Sunday, and for the second time this season and the second time in her career is a champion on the KLPGA Tour. So stay with us. We will bring you all the sights and sounds of this victorious moment. After the initial celebrations, the scorecards will be signed. We will hear from Coach Ji-won in her interview with SBS Golf. We'll also go through the final round highlights and bring you the awards presentation as the S-Oil Championship is officially in the books. For the 19th time and a brand new winner, Coach Ji-won tops the 96-player field and will take home the 180 million won check and all the various prizes that she so richly deserves.
수고들 많으셨습니다. podium 프로. 올해 두 번째 우승을. 수고들 많으셨습니다. podium 프로. 올해 두 번째 우승을 이렇게 SBS골프 챔피언십 2025에서 우승을 거뒀습니다.
이쪽으로 왔어요. 드랍 테이블. 드랍 테이블 이쪽으로 와. 상대는 뒤로 갈 거예요. 드랍 테이블.
불러주라. 444, 4434.
하늘하시지만은 저희 SBS골프 챔피언십의 시사는 올림픽처럼 진행합니다. 그래서 3위까지 다시 상식을 저희가 의단을 걸어드리고 하니까 오늘 3위 송 선수에게 뜨거운 박수 잠시 부탁드리겠습니다.
So here is a look at your final leaderboard. It is Coach Ji-won with just a 2-stroke victory after So Gyo-reem birdied the last, equaling what Matt Tasson was able to do last year to win the tournament in a playoff. Hyun Se-rin and Chan Ye-sung in a 65 on Sunday. That's worthy of a tip of the cap or two. Cheonu also at 11 under with her 67. Lee Dae-yeon managed just the 71 today. Yoo Hyun-jo also in our featured group. She struggled, 73. She shoots over par, but just stays in to the top 10. Time to sign the victory banner to cement this tournament in its 19-event lore. And as a reminder, the next time you hear from us will be for your final round highlights. We expect to hear from our champion shortly as we tie a bow on the 2025 S-Oil Championship.
와, 축하해. 축하해, 너. 우리 둘 다 축하해.
최종 라운드 스코어도 부탁드립니다.
진짜 예뻐.
축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
안에 키
아니, 왜 이렇게 차요?
아니 그게 아니고 이거
Well, as the golden carpet is being laid out, I suppose we should hit these final round highlights. We don't want to miss a moment of what had been such an exciting round. And Chun-in-ji brought out the supporters from Thursday through Sunday. Not only a previous champion of this tournament, but more tournaments than I can count on 3, maybe even 4 hands. That's how good her career has been. Coach Ji-won, she picked up 2 birdies in her first 4 holes, which let us all know that she came to play today. And it was going to take a gargantuan effort to slow her down. That's not to say she didn't have some opposition. We will see plenty of that pink sweater of So-Gyo Rim, who was dialed in from go and certainly made it close. I don't want to say all the way to the end because of the 3-stroke or the 2-stroke disparity, I suppose, at the end of the tournament. She never really seemed like she was going to catch Coach Ji-won, but the internal personal battle that she played today, focus on playing against yourself, pick up your birdies, and let the chips fall as they may. She did that. And even those outside of the top 10 had their moments in the spotlight. This was someone who was very much in the hunt for much of the week, and certainly that carried into today. A fabulous birdie at the 7th to bring her into sole possession of 3rd at the moment. Next from So-Gyo Rim, this was at 13 from the fairway, straight shot at it, 58-degree wedge, 77 meters with the wind at her back. She nearly holes out, and that wouldn't be her only close call. We'd have another one at 16. But Coach Ji-won saw that and said, okay, well, hang on a second. Let's remind everyone who the leader is. She was able to slot that to about 2.5 meters from her birdie. Hyun-Se Rin, there's no doubt about it, she was one of our heroes of this Sunday. Saving her best 18-hole performance of the week for the final day, including that birdie on the 18th. She finished with a 68. From the sand at the last. Well, really, really difficult to get up and down when you send your bunker shot to the fringe. Credit to her. She stuck through it, but at the end of the day, and I beg your pardon, this was on 17, a long bunker shot to a chip and a 2-putt for the bogey. This is Sogyori. She had more of these than we could even fit in this highlight pack. Spraying the ball all over the course. She was absolutely dialed in. Coach Yuan wouldn't have her championship moment from a birdie. She would miss by mere millimeters, but in the end, even despite Sogyori's birdie to finish 15 under, it was the simplest tap-in par for Jeju's own Coach Yuan to wrap up her victory, her second of the season, and once again doing so in her own
안녕하세요.
backyard. Here she is
네,
with their SBS Golf
감사합니다.
Group.
네, 오늘 경기 뭐 세타 차이로 출발했지만 뭐 바람도 너무 심하고 방심할 수 없다고 생각하고 최대한 즐겁게 치려고 노력했고요. 너무 친한 동생들이랑 제가 너무 좋아하는 동생들이랑 같이 경기할 수 있어가지고요. 너무 재밌게 플레이했어요. 네. 네. 최대한 그때 좋은 기억을 떠올리려고도 노력했고요. 다들 마음가짐은 그래도 전 항상 즐겁게 재밌게 최선을 다하자 이거를 베이스로 깔았고요. 그리고 뭐 다른 건 없었어요. 사람들이 다들 너 제주도 오면 잘 맞나 봐. 너 제주의 딸 하니까 진짜 그렇게 된 것 같아요. 네. 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 네, 언니가 오늘 아침에 컨디션이 많이 안 좋아져가지고 시합을 기권하게 됐는데 많이 속상했을 것 같아요. 그래 많이 속상하다고도 했고요. 근데 자기 신경 쓰지 말고 계속 저만 생각하라고, 그리고 계속 뭐 다 신경 쓰지 마, 뭐 너만 신경 써. 자긴 진짜 신경 쓰지 말고 좋은 말도 많이 해줬어요. 플레이할 때 어떻게 해야 될지도. 그래서 언니가 제 우승한 거 보고 많이 좋아했으면 좋겠어요. 네, 언니랑 같이 한 거라 생각해요. 네. 네. 저도 꽤나 공격적이라고 생각해요. 중간에 잠깐 수비적으로도 가봤는데요. 저랑 안 맞는 것 같더라고요. 그래서 전 그냥 공격으로 가요. 네. 네. 어떤 선수라고 하면은 저는 꾸준히 잘하는 선수가 되고 싶고요. 항상 말했듯이 주변 사람들에게, 그리고 시청해주시는 분들, 응원해주시는 분들에게 긍정적인 영향을 줄 수 있는 그런 사람이 되고 싶어요. 네. 네. 뭐든 빨리 하면 좋긴 하죠. 누구든 일단 빨리 더 했으면 좋겠고요. 일단 지금 이 우승을 더 만끽하고 싶고, 올해 시즌 시작할 때까지만 해도 제가 이렇게 정규 투어 시즌 2승을 할 수 있을 거라고는 생각 못 했거든요. 그래서 진짜 너무 이것도 감사하게 생각하고 있고 뿌듯해요. 네. 네. 네, 첫 우승했을 때 감사한 분들을 너무 제가 당황하고 그래가지고 많이 못 말했는데요. 오늘 꼭 말하고 싶은 사람은 일단 삼천리 이만득 회장님 정말 항상 감사드린다고 말씀드리고 싶고요. 그리고 삼천리의 지유진 부단장님이랑 저희 혜림 코치님 올해 정말 많이 도와주시고 덕분에 많이 성장할 수 있었다고 생각합니다. 그리고 세민 코치님도 퍼팅 많이 잘 알려주셔서 제가 많이 성장할 수 있었던 것 같아요. 그리고 저희 부모님하고 저희 가족, 그리고 또 집이 정말 가까워서 주변 분들도 많이 친척분들, 지인분들 다 많이 와주셨는데요. 다들 너무 감사해요. 네. 너무 좋아요. 네. 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 감사합니다. 감사합니다.
네, SBS골프 챔피언십 2025 시상식 진행을 맡게 된 방송인 배동석입니다. 여러분 반갑습니다. 안녕하세요. 정말 추운데도 끝까지 이렇게 응원해주신 여러분께 진심으로 감사드리고요. 자, 시상식에 앞서서 귀향으로 오신 내빈 여러분들을 한 분 한 분 소개하겠습니다. 여러분은 한 분 한 분 큰 박수로 환영을 부탁드립니다. 먼저 본대 주최사 SO일 아나르알 히지아디 시오님 소개합니다. 여러분 큰 박수 부탁드립니다. 다음은 대회 주관사 한국여자 프로골프협회 김순희 수석부회장님을 소개합니다. 다음은 멋진 코스를 정해 계신 엘리시안 컨트리클럽 김태진 대표이사님 소개합니다. 이어서 대회 최사 SOL 안종범 사장님 소개합니다. 끝으로 SOL 이영호 전무님 함께 해주셨습니다. 여러분 다섯 분께 다시 한번 큰 박수와 함성 부탁드립니다. 자, 올해는 파3 전월에 큼지막한 홀인원 상품들을 걸어놨습니다. 먼저 3번 홀에 벤골프 아이언 세트, 7번 홀은 코지마 안마의자, 12번 홀은 덕시아나 고급 침대, 16번 홀은 포르쉐 뉴 파나베라 4가 준비되어 있었습니다. 아쉽게도 올해는 홀이 나오지 않아서 7번 홀 코지마 안마의자와 12번 홀 덕시아나 고급 침대는 오늘 우승자에게 선물을 드리도록 하겠습니다. 자, 그럼 지금부터 본상 시상을 진행하기 위해서 1, 2, 3위 선수들은 시상대 뒤로 서주시길 바랍니다. 자, 여러분 세 선수에게 뜨거운 박수 부탁드립니다. 영광의 메달은 SO일 아나르알 히잔 시연님께서, 보답은 한국여자 프로골프협회 김순희 수석부회장님께서 수여해 주시겠습니다. 먼저 동메달입니다. 4라운드 11언더파 현세리 프로입니다. 은메달입니다. 4라운드 총 15언더파 서교림 프로입니다. 마지막으로 SO일 챔피언십 2025 대회 금메달 수상할 우승자는 1라운드 68타, 2라운드 65타, 3라운드 71타, 4라운드 67타, 총 17언더파 기록한 고지영 프로 축하합니다. 그럼 먼저 SO일 아나르알 히잔 시연님께서 선수들에게 메달을 수여하겠습니다. 먼저 동메달 현세림 프로입니다. 여러분 박수 부탁드립니다. 은메달 서교림 대망의 금메달 고지호 프로 축하합니다. 다음은 한국여자 프로골프협회 김순희 수업회장께서 선수들에게 꽃다발을 전달하겠습니다. 여러분 다시 한번 우리 세 프로에게 큰 박수 부탁드립니다. 자, 선수들 그 자리에서 한번 멋지게 촬영 한번 하시고요. 자, 권지현 프로 자리에 우리 현선이 프로와 송기는 프로가 올라가시기 바랍니다. 이 자리에 올라가서 함께 기념 촬영 부탁드립니다. 자, 메달 좀 보이고 우리 올림픽처럼 이에다 한번 더 한번 물어봐 주시고 예쁘게 여러분 축하의 박수 부탁드립니다. 자, 귀한 걸 계신 대빈 여러분과 함께 수상자들과 기념 촬영 진행하도록 하겠습니다. 고프로가 약간 까치발 들어야 될 것 같아요. 멋진 사진 다 찍으셨나요? 오케이. 자, 이어서 2위와 3위 선수들에게 또 특별한 부상을 올해는 준비했습니다. SO일 안종봉 사장께서는 시상식 벽으로 앞으로 이동해 주시고 고맙겠습니다. 자, 먼저 우리 현세림 프로에게 코지마, 눈, 목, 어깨, 다리 마사지기 3종 세트가 제공됩니다. 현세림 프로 오셔서 선물 받아주시기 바랍니다. 3위 부상 3종 세트 박수 축하해주세요. 자, 이어서 2위 서교림 프로에게도 코즈마, 눈목, 어깨, 다리 마사지기 3종 세트 제공해 드리겠습니다. 여러분 축하의 박수 부탁드립니다. 자, 제 사자 속으로
Well, this Olympic-inspired S-Oil Championship, staying true to theme all the way through to the very end as Coach Iwan, Sokyo Reem, and Hyun-Se Reem each take their turn on the podium.
시상백을 앞으로 이동해 주시면 고맙겠습니다. 자, 먼저 우승 자켓을 시험께서 고지현 프로에게 입혀 주시겠습니다. 여러분 축하의 박수 부탁드립니다. 너무 잘 어울리네요. 추울 텐데 너무 좋을 것 같습니다. 자, 이어서 손해배 전달합니다. 자, 이어서 시상수표 우승상금 2억 8천만 원 시상합니다. 자, 권지현 프로가 우승 트로피를 들어주시고 우리 시원님께서 같이 시상수표를 들어주면 될 것 같습니다. 아, 무겁죠. 자, 여러분 다시 한번 뜨거운 박수 축하하시기 바랍니다. 자, 이제 트로피와 시상수표.
Well, some very proud, and rightfully so, family, friends, and supporters of Coach Iwan, our champion this week on the KLPGA Tour, and Ishu Ying, beaming like a younger sister perhaps, but the biggest fan. After her moment in the spotlight last week, she is there to watch every moment and celebrate every moment of Coach Iwan's triumphant victory here at Elysian Jeju. And with that, we bid you farewell from what has been a fabulous 30th event of the season. Hard to believe that next week, when we head north to Sowon Hills, we will officially say goodbye to the 2025 year. One last chance for points and money for both the regular tour everyday pros and the rookies who want to finalize their race for some silverware as well. And as we roll out on some of the best pictures of the week, if I may be so self-indulgent as to say a sincere thank you, not only to you, our fabulous viewers, but also to our crew at SBS Golf, my producer John Kim in particular, who has been with me for 5 years now behind the microphone of the KLPGA Tour. It may be my final event, but it is not our final event of the season. We will all be watching on with keen interest next week at the Taebo House D Championship, where Moon Jung-min will try to defend her title with another 1 billion won purse. But for this week, it must be farewell. We leave you with the triumphant photos of Coach Iwan on the top step of the podium as she wins the 2025 S-Oil Championship. Have a fantastic conclusion to your weekend, everyone. We thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you on Friday when we do it all again on the KLPGA Tour.